Peace tribe, welcome. So happy to have you here. Before we get into this video, let's just take a collective deep breath together. So you can close down your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. And together we will just take a deep inhale in through the nose, completely filling the lungs. Hold at the top for 1, 2, 3, release. Fully emptying out the lungs. And you can continue with your normal breath. Hey y'all, it's your girl Sage Monroe. I'm so happy to have you here. This is a sensitive topic as far as like healing one's inner child. I feel the inner child can be one of the most fragile parts of the human psyche, because that is inevitably what he or she is, a part of your psyche that exists but in the subconscious mind. We don't even sometimes realize how our inner child being healed or unhealed affects our daily lives, affects our relationships and so forth. So I feel personally I'm at a beautiful point in my life to kind of come in and just discuss my experience with integrating my inner child and entering this space of feeling best friends with my inner child. Like me and her, we're thick as thieves, you know, and I want that for everyone, because it's such a beautiful experience when your inner child can thrive in their most creative, most curious, most free-flowing selves. It actually helps boost a lot of things that we're going to get into in this video. So let's just start from the beginning. Whatever experiences you may have encountered as a child still currently affect your adult behaviorisms. Whether you felt safe, seen, heard, loved, now determines how you're going to see others and yourself, and also how you love yourself and others, or if you feel safe even into your adulthood. And inevitably, the best way to even see how evolved or lack thereof one's inner child is through their emotional intelligence. We're starting from scratch with learning emotional intelligence, and it's ultimately up to our parents to teach us that, but that does not always happen. So in adulthood, sometimes you see 40-year-old men who are still acting like 16-year-old boys, and you see 30-year-old women who are still acting like 12-year-old girls, you know? So this happens because trauma, fear, it freezes you in time. We experience a lot of different things in our childhood, and everyone's experience is different. Some people felt very loved and had the ability to be very free and curious in their childhoods, and others have been abused and their voice has been suppressed. And some of us are just a mixture. You know I am. Let's say, for instance, a young girl experiences trauma with mental or sexual abuse. If we don't learn to transmute the energy or completely release it, it lives in our body for that long. And that trauma gone unprocessed will kind of sit and become like a spiritual cancer, because you are going to be reliving that experience or frozen at 9 years old, because your emotional intelligence froze at that point in time and you didn't learn how to evolve through that, or like I mentioned, transmute that pain into light, that hurt into light, or just completely release it out of your body. But especially for women, a lot of our emotional trauma is stored in our wombs, which brings me to my next point. Where does the inner child live? So I believe that our inner child lives in our lower chakras. The root chakra is your grounding center. How this chakra spins will tell you how safe you feel, how secure you feel, and how connected to the world around you feel. This lower chakra is developed in your childhood. So if you did not feel safe in your childhood, then into your adulthood, you still have these feelings of maybe anxiousness and unsafeness because you were frozen in time. Your emotional intelligence stopped at the root chakra. A blockage has to be removed for then again to be spinning at a healthy speed. Similarly, for the sacral chakra, This is our creative center. This is also our sensuality, and this is our self-expression. When we were children, if we had the ability to be creatively expressive and curious and just very in tune with our playfulness, this chakra is more than likely healthy. And as an adult, you can create naturally. If you have creative blockages, then that is centered around potentially your inner child not feeling the invitation to be playful and creatively expressive. This can happen in our adulthoods when we begin getting so future focused and so task focused that we don't make time for play. We don't make time for spontaneity, and then we become blocked in that area. So what ways can we connect deeper with our inner child, and how can we really cultivate a healthy relationship so we become co-creators of our reality instead of that inner part of us being silenced and hushed, because it will show up whether we like it or not. I feel that the first way to gather a healthy relationship with one's inner child is to communicate with your inner child. They are dwelling within you currently, and if you don't have a great relationship with your inner child, or you don't speak to your inner child, it's probably because there's something that is being buried deep down, to where you don't even really want to think back to your childhood at all, or the younger version of yourself. But it's healthy to just talk to your inner child. I actually have some journal prompts for you all to develop a closer knit connection and understanding of your inner child, and I will share those. Fun fact, we are our parents now. So our inner children are being parented by us, and they need the love that we wanted to receive when we were younger. They need that patience that we wanted to receive when we were younger. They need that attention and intentionality with our growth process. So it is very important that we just cultivate a safe space for our inner child to communicate with us. So once you ask your inner child like what it is that they need, you can provide that for them. Some people's inner childs want to go outside and play. Others want ice cream. Mine's always wants ice cream. But it'll be good because then you can start to nurture your inner child a lot, and then open up a safe space for you to have those interpersonal conversations with yourself about maybe what exactly happened in your childhood to freeze you in a certain point, or a certain belief, or a certain level of emotional understanding. To get into our next point is how sometimes, because our inner child lives in our subconscious mind, we do not understand some ways that we are being affected by the level of healed our inner child is. But relationships are a great mirror, and they don't even always have to be romantic. They can be family, they can be friend relationships, and we get triggered sometimes. And these triggers are great doors or portals into things that we need to heal with inside of ourselves. Some of them may be connected to your higher self, and some things may be connected to your inner child. So it's just important to have a certain amount of awareness towards that. I feel that these relationships are huge mirrors, because how we treat ourselves tells a lot about how we care for and nurture, or lack thereof, of our inner child, as well as how we are liable to treat other people. That tends to be based off of what we saw growing up, how we were treated growing up, and how we were loved growing up. I always say that I feel like it's very important to just love your inner child unconditionally, thus loving yourself unconditionally, even the most battered, traumatic parts of yourself. It is a very liberating experience. There are also ways that you can physically heal your inner child. Like I mentioned, going outside to play. Also, if you're a woman, womb massages to break up any stored emotional energy or childhood trauma energy in that space. Also, yoni steaming, going outside and grounding yourself, putting your feet in the dirt like you did when you were a child, just reconnecting with the primal parts of yourself before you were conditioned. If you don't have a verbal conversation with your inner child, that's okay. That might still feel unfamiliar and odd to you, but it is also great if you even journal. Above all, nothing heals your inner child like creating. I don't care if it's finger painting or making music or sculpting something or playing on the drums, just a lot of different forms of art and creativity. Maybe it's making a hat for you or creating something digital. Creating is what is going to set your inner child the most free, because when we create, we are shown the most authentic parts of ourselves. The most authentic parts of ourselves are shown when we allow ourselves to be raw and creative and cultivate something strictly from our individuality and our mind, and our creative center and our sacral. Dancing, all of those things are great ways to connect with your inner child. I honestly went back and forth about sharing this last thing with you all, but I can't sit here and pretend like it wasn't a huge part of my journey of healing my inner child. But I am by no means recommending anything. This is just me telling my personal experience. I have used plant medicine in the forms of psilocybin for the last 2 years. Throughout that process, I have been researching. I have been working with mentors to facilitate plant medicine ceremonies and learning about the art of the medicine in a whole. And I have been able to unlock very dark and deep doors within my subconscious mind, within my inner child, through this medicine. It's just a huge loving mirror, and the truth sometimes is painful, but it has just helped me see what the truth is so I can heal from it, you know. That has just been my personal experience, and I'm very grateful for the medicine, because it has helped me see that a lot of these fears that I had buried down within myself, all of these I felt quote unquote demons, you know, that I may have carried in the past, were just like, it was like my inner child had on a scary costume, but deep down within, it was just a child in that fear, in that rage, that just wanted to be loved, you know. It's like Scooby-Doo. Where it's like this person pretending to be this like scary thing, so you never even want to approach it and try to heal it because it just feels too hard and too heavy and too scary. But all along was just a person with some fucked up backstory. You feel me? Like, was that not Scooby-Doo? But yeah, and it's just like, damn, that's what it was. Like, all along, it was just my inner child in there, like, just yearning for me to come be with her and come nurture her, or tell her that it was not her fault, or to tell her that she's doing a great job, you know, and just to let her roam free. We are seriously the adults now, and we have to give our inner child space to thrive, just as much as we give our highest self space to thrive. Without our inner childs, there is just like a bland world that is too cookie cutter or too logical or too precise. We're human beings. We were sent here to, I feel, in my personal opinion, explore, love one another, good vibes, just to have good vibes. We have strayed. And I do feel that it is because our society as a whole is lacking love. That is how I truly feel. And I believe that it stems from the very beginning, how we are raised, coming up. Did we feel loved by our mother? Did we feel loved by our father? And if not, then that creates a very hectic world, because it's not going to be built on love. It might be built on, let's say when you were younger, you will receive material abundance in the place of love. Now you grow up and you're perpetuating that same cycle off into your relationships, because no one truly knows what the hell love looks like anymore, because we don't even have it within ourselves. So it's crucial, almost. It's definitely crucial that we regain that. We regain that within ourselves, so that we can be lovers of not just ourselves, but to also one another and to this whole world, to every being, to every plant. You know, it's imperative. So I feel that those who raised us did their best with making us feel loved and tended to. They were literally just sent here to guide us and to help us figure out how to one day just be a human being on our own. And most of them didn't have the tools, you know. Most of them came with their own fear and their own trauma, that has gotten passed down to us now. But it is our duty and it is our gift that we can reshape that narrative, that we don't have to live in a victim mindset if we learn to use our magic to transmute our trauma into prosperity, into love, into light, into our triumph, you know, into our testimony, because that is how we find power, you know, even in the most darkest moments of our lives, you know, our darkest experiences. I appreciate you all for being in this space, allowing yourselves to potentially open your perspective to what healing the inner child looked like. Maybe everything resonated for you in this video, or maybe you learned something new. That's all I'm here to do, is just spark something in you and let you know that you're not alone, and to use my experience to dish down the tools that I used to become better, or the knowledge that I've learned to evolve, you know, especially in such a sensitive realm as the inner child, because that is truly where it all begins. So I'm gonna get into these journal prompts now. What does your inner child need? Is there any particular event that happened within your childhood that prevents you from feeling safe or nurtured even into your adulthood? What does your inner child want to do today? Is there anything your inner child wants you to stop doing? So I appreciate you and I love you. And I'm so happy you came into this space. I would love if you became a part of the tribe. If it feels in alignment for you, smash that subscribe button and hit this like button if this video did resonate with you in any way. And I hope to see you back in my next video. The bloopers are coming up. I had bloopers. Meet Cleo, the neighborhood cat. Cleo, say hi. Say hi. Oh, you look so beautiful. Don't jump. No. Down. Cleo. Cleo. Get down. What is she doing? So the inner child lives in our lower chakras, and this is completely my philosophy. This is my opinion. This is my damn channel. But anyway, yes, so, and oh my God, what is that? It's Costa Rica shit. And I'm sorry, y'all, I live in Costa Rica. I was like, is that a snake? You never know. I just heard something in the bushes. Anywho, yeah. See y'all. Ciao.